Welcome to Let's Be Honest About Logistics podcast. I'm Nikki Jones, CEO of Vidu Group. I'm joined here today by Neil Hatt. Neil is the CEO for SF1 within InXpress. SF1 is an amalgamation of 5 of the top performing franchises that have come together to join one corporate super franchise. So Neil's here today to talk about his journey to date, the importance of a multi-carrier solution for small to medium-sized retailers, and a little bit about his insights on the industry. So thank you for joining us, Neil.
Thanks for having me.
Great to have you here. Shall we start with telling the audience a little bit then about your journey and how it came to be that you were within InXpress?
Yeah, certainly. So, not to go too far back, but
We've had people go back to school days.
Oh, really? Well, no, I definitely don't want to go back that far. I go to therapy to try and block that bit out. No, so I did a law degree.
Okay.
I knew, I think, really within the first year that law wasn't going to be something I wanted to continue on with. Mm-hmm. So when I came out from Bristol, I'd got my degree, but I didn't really know what to do. So I, like a lot of people at the time, I fell into recruitment.
Okay.
So I bounced around a little bit there. The first place I worked at, the chap went to set up his own business, so I went with him. So I actually got a good understanding of a business starting from scratch.
Okay.
At that time. I moved on from there to a bigger firm, Badenoch and Clark. And I think recruitment was a great test bed for the skills I was going to need, as we found for InXpress. And what actually happened was there was no real progression within Badenoch and Clark.
For you, from a career development?
Yeah, it was. Okay. It was dead man's shoes.
Okay.
And there was a big team, very small amount of management. So I was just spinning my wheels, really.
Yeah.
And it was actually my father who, he owned a franchise network called the Business Partnership.
Okay.
To help people sell businesses. Someone from InXpress, which was called Express Worldwide at the time, was selling. Mm-hmm. And it was he came to me and said, look, you could do this. You know, it's got all the skills that you're using, but you can work for yourself. I didn't have the money to buy an established one, but I got interested and I thought, you know what, now's the time.
Yeah.
I was renting a house with my wife, who was my girlfriend at the time. So we didn't have huge financial commitments. Mm-hmm. It was like, if we're going to do it,
now or never,
let's give it a go. But it tied in really nicely. It was speaking to people. I had to understand margins. So to get things started, I had a good base.
Yeah.
There was an incredible amount to learn.
Yeah.
And it took a long time. Mm-hmm. It took a good few years to really get somewhere. Mm-hmm. But then it started to build. I started to recruit. I got into the thing that I really love, which is building a team, helping people grow, elevating people.
Yeah. That's your vibe, isn't it? People, personalities, cultures, relationships.
Which, funnily, most people who know me wouldn't say that.
Yeah.
Because on a personal level, I'm quite a miserable bugger. I'm very, very introverted. But for some reason within work, something seems to change.
Something changes.
And, I love, my team, as we've grown and as we've come into SF1, watching my team grow and come into management positions with a large number of people under them and watching them flourish and seeing the interest and the passion and the fire that they've got for it.
So have they really embraced that transition then?
Yeah.
Yeah, nice, good.
Which is lucky because it was going to be very, very difficult otherwise.
So how many have you gone from then? So within your particular franchise, was there 8, 9 initially?
7.
There was 7.
Yeah.
Okay. And
7 and me.
7 and you.
7.
So 7, 8.
As it was at that point.
And then how many are collectively in SF1 now then?
We are currently up at 23.
Okay.
With obviously incoming recruitment.
Yeah.
Which is going to take us very quickly up to 25 by next week. Oh, sorry, no, we're at 24 because of this week. So 25. And then we have another person joining in account management, and then we've got further sales reps coming in. We have a monthly sales meeting, so we get all of the sales reps together every month. We review the last month, we review the month ahead, call it the good, the bad, and the ugly.
Yeah.
Make sure they tell us about the problems, and each time I stress to them, whilst they're doing a phenomenal job, and they are, it's harder than it's been,
you think?
I would say, since I started nearly 20 years ago now.
Okay. What do you think shifted then? What's changed?
Do you know, I think we've been through ups and downs. I mean, I think I've been through a couple of recessions in the time that I've started, since I started. But I think probably a conflation of two things. Obviously, Brexit had a big impact for a long time, and it crushed a lot of businesses. That was a real struggle. But the other thing was COVID. We had such an inflation of domestic and e-commerce shipping. The carriers spent a load of money on new depots, drivers, everything flew. And then, of course, it's like the bubbles burst.
Yeah.
Things have gone back to normal. So now the carriers are struggling a little bit more. They've got to get some revenue in to pay for all of this stuff that they built during the boom times of COVID. So all of a sudden there's a lot more competition out there.
So they're dropping their rates, are they, to get the volume?
Yeah.
Okay.
And they're because they want that influx, they're dealing with that directly.
Right.
So we're finding a lot more competition directly from the carriers. Whereas we always had our own, it was very much a niche. We were at a level. And the carriers worked above that. So we looked after that small to medium shipper, and the carriers always went at a higher level. We've seen that come together a lot more since COVID.
Okay.
And obviously, lots of businesses suffered and went under during COVID, and Brexit caused the same. So I think we find ourselves in a very different marketplace to...
It seems to have been, I was talking to someone on my podcast previously, the past 4 or 5 years has been blow after blow after blow for the industry. There's something, even most recently with US, with Trump and the de minimis and everything else, that's just another thing that does make retailers a little bit nervous to ship, doesn't it? So did you see that as a positive? Because were they with an own network and then thinking, actually, we're a bit nervous because some of these big multinationals are turning lanes off. Are we better go into a multi-carrier solution? Because if that does happen, we've got another option. Or did you not see an impact from that at all?
There were definitely benefits to what we offer.
Right.
So people could come to us, exactly as you say, for the multi-carrier. I mean, there were certain carriers, and I know we probably shouldn't name particular names, certain carriers had tariff issues where there were like 100% tariffs were being applied, but it should only have been 25%.
Right.
And you had customers who were trying to get that resolved directly with the carrier and were really struggling. So
is that because they were a smaller shipper and not seen as a priority because of the volume?
I think so.
Right.
And I think because this was happening to so many, obviously, carriers, much like every business, you have to triage your problems.
Yes.
So you're looking after the big ones first, and then you start moving down. So some of the customers that we deal with or have picked up from that kind of scenario, they were really struggling. They weren't getting the help that they needed.
And have they fitted in with this partnership? Is it suiting them then?
Yes.
Yeah. And did they know about it before?
No, in the main, we kind of fly still.
Yeah.
I've been going 20 odd years, but InXpress over 26 now, still very much under the radar. It's still not a household name by any stretch.
No. And that's wild when you've got a presence in Europe, Australia, America.
Yeah. But I think it's one of those things I've worked, InXpress is fantastic. They do, they're very good with new ideas. So there's always lots of departments who want to look into marketing. What can we do here? Let's have a brand fund. Let's see what we can do. But trying to get our story across and what we do in, a couple of seconds of advert or, radio, you can't really do it. Yeah. You've got to be in front of someone and
get your own podcast
and explain it. Well,
get John on the old podcast.
I was going to say, let's see how this one goes first. It might kill it for all of us.
Better not for me.
Well, no, yes, yeah. No, I'm sure you'll be okay.
Well, that's interesting then, isn't it? Because we've had retailers on as well, and they were talking about how they initially were with an own network, and then they experienced some problems as a retailer because they were a small retailer. Then they got introduced to a multi-carrier solution. They're now doing 25 million turnover in 5 years from zero, when they were literally delivering 5-10 parcels a day, and there'll be 100 million turnover in the next 2 years. So it's very interesting that how the multinationals decide who they think is going to go that next step. Because once this company are at 100 million, they're not going to re-engage with that carrier that let them down when they were doing 10. So it's a tricky one. But then those carriers probably get people saying, oh, we're going to be 25 million turnover in 5 years, and maybe one of 20 of them get there, but they're not all going to get there. So they have to be a little bit conservative because, like someone said to me previously, they need that volume.
Yes. Yeah.
So what do you think your solution is suited to? What is the perfect sort of customer for InXpress?
The nice thing is, I mean, InXpress, we often speak about it being a one-stop shop. So we can look after, because of the range of carrier partners that we have, we're looking at anything from a document worldwide through to large items of freight, even containers, although personally I balk a bit at containers. That's, stepping just under that is where I like to look at drawing the line. But because of that, we're able to provide not just a particular solution to a small to medium shipper, but a choice of solutions.
Okay.
Now, where that comes into its own is you could have one of our customers, for example, who is shipping to Asia, but also shipping to America. Now, because of their volumes, traditionally, if they go with one carrier, they might go with, for example, FedEx. They're going to be absolutely premium, super hot. Yeah. Super hot into America, it'd be a fantastic service, wonderful. Not quite so good into Asia. That's where DHL really shine.
Okay.
So when you're a smaller shipper, you're going to be locked into one that potentially isn't going to give you the benefits across the globe that you might like, as you're really trying to grow your brand, get all the benefits that you can. Where InXpress really comes to the fore is because we take care of, if you like, the volumes for you.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter how much you're sending. You can get the benefits of sending with FedEx to America, but then you can utilise DHL over into Asia.
Okay.
On top
so
of,
is that your primary carrier then? Do you also put traffic through UPS, FedEx, DPD? Yeah, so they've got a selection of carriers.
Yes, yeah. In fact, we've got, if we switch everything onto our platform, it's too much. Yeah. It's just choice after choice after choice, because obviously not just with the different range of carriers, but each of their services. So you can have, you can have an express, an economy. You can have all of these different services. So that, I mean, you'd just be scrolling forever.
So you would get an understanding of what they needed, the volumes, the dimensions, what price they're currently paying, what lanes they need, if it's domestic, if it's international, if it's parcels, if it's freight, and then choose a selection of carriers that are most suited to what they want. Is that how it would work?
Yeah. The thing we've really tried to drive...
I'm sounding like a dummy, but I know some people in the audience will be like, well, what is it? Because if they're only used to working with an own network, it's good that they have an option to understand what this looks like.
No, absolutely. And yeah, I mean, whilst we've got obviously a fantastic sales team, there's a big thing that for me, it's not really sales. We position much more as consultants.
Yes.
Because we have to be consultative. We can go in and we can switch on a basic service, but in the main, it's not really what we're here to do. It's not the most benefit to the customer or our carrier partners. When we're consultative and we go in and we really look into that customer's business, we pull things apart, we look at what the best benefit is going to be for each area, then we select the carriers.
So you can look effectively at that full end-to-end solution.
Yeah.
Okay.
And the thing I really love...
Oh, here he goes. He's on now. He's on a roll.
Well, we can look at the full picture, the big picture. So there are cases where, on a customer, for example, they're just starting to open up internationally and they need incredibly cheap rates to just get off the ground. Yeah. Because in the main, they've been a domestic, provider.
Okay.
So we'll look and we'll work on their domestic, but we will happily look at the big picture and go, look, we'll help you on your international. So we will drop our margins right down, and we will make sure that
picture.
You can build, because the account in its entirety is spot on. It's what we're looking for.
Yes.
And we can help by, this one we can almost do at a cost for you, because we can look at the whole thing, and that's going to help their business grow overall. So we want to be...
That is a value to you, because the more you get them bought in it's harder for them to go away then, isn't it? If you've got quite a few different facets of the business.
Yeah. It was a big thing. It's always got to be a win-win. I always like that. It's the saying, isn't it? You know, if you can't say win-win and then what I'm about to say, but if someone wins, then someone has to lose. And that's not good for anything. You just want to try and find that equilibrium where everyone is benefiting.
Well, the more that they grow, the more that you grow, because inevitably they're putting more volume through your network, aren't they, at the end of the day? So you want to guide and advise and educate and support and, you know, make sure that you're understanding of their growth plan and strategy, because in turn, it's inevitably going to come back to you tenfold.
Yes, yeah.
And I'm assuming people that are using you as a carrier then, they don't mind paying a sort of a little bit more of a premium, because when you look at, the reason I say this is that I had a big retailer on, and he said as a small company that was really a value to have consultants, a solution-focused approach, to be given the heads up about what's happening in the market. He said we found that a value and some comfort rather than just being one of a million with a bigger network. So do you feel you are competitively priced against multinationals, or do you feel it is a bit more of a premium solution?
No, I think we're very competitively priced.
Okay.
In the main, I would say in the majority of cases, we're still able to provide a saving along with the value adds that we can come in with. Over the years, it's got a little harder. Things have changed, but I would say we're still competitive enough that we're bringing this value add in the main at no extra cost. Still, I think we push towards a bit of a saving. Certainly for the small to medium shipper who really fits our niche. When you get to these slightly larger accounts that we look after, yes, the value add that we're bringing, the work that we do, sometimes there is a bit of a premium attached to that. But I think even that premium only tends to take us up to where they might be directly with the carrier anyway. Okay, so that's interesting,
because people notoriously would think this is a more expensive solution.
Yes. It was always what I had in the early days. Why would we come to you in the middle? You're going to charge us more. Yeah. And it was a bit...
Because they'll think it's margin on margin, won't they? They won't realise, well, actually, no, because if you're only shipping 40, 50 parcels a night, you're a teeny tiny customer to Mr. X.
Yeah.
If you're coming through us and we're putting 100, 200 million through Mr. X, you're in a very different dynamic because you're now a big customer.
Yes.
So that, to me, would be the value, that it gives you that comfort. You're actually going to be looked after. The parcels are going to get delivered, and there's that sort of transparency, really.
Yeah, absolutely.
So what do you look for then in your team? This is, I know, your jam, the people and culture piece. So what's been important to you on the journey of scaling with this?
Well, I mean, you know this because you found most of them.
I know, but they don't know that I found them.
Yeah.
So thanks for the plug.
Yes. Come to Nikki. It's brilliant. It's people are, it's within InXpress, obviously we have the carriers. The partnership with the carriers provides, the rates and the services that we can then provide to our customers.
Yeah.
But effectively, what InXpress is beyond those rates is just the people. And so that's just by far the most important thing. So
would you take the drive, the hunger, the ambition, the enthusiasm over experience then now?
Yes. Yeah, 100%. I think attitude and drive and then teach the skills is... It's funny, in the early days of growing my own franchise before coming into and heading the super, that was kind of how things went, because there was no real way to get experience. I didn't have the money to pay people with experience. I didn't have the avenue to find those people. So it was a case of, it felt quite entrepreneurial, even though it was a franchise. You just kind of, right, come in and help me, and this is what we'll do, and here's a plan. And we really work together. And then I think as you grow, you start to get a bit more successful, and then you start to look at experience, and then it didn't always fit very well.
I think people struggle coming from an own network, just from recruiting in this industry for sort of 22 years. Coming from an own network, you think this is great. They've got their own customers. They're going to hit the ground running. They know what good looks like. They've got contacts in domestic and international. They've got a bias to international where we've got higher margins. That's all great. But in hindsight, I think we've experienced this personally. Some people really struggle to get their head around not ringing and saying, I'm calling from such and such, would you like a rate review? And then leading on to new business against, this is who we are. We're a service provider for XYZ. This is what we offer. Can I talk to you about your shipping solution? So like you say, it goes back to, I think, that consultative solution-focused seller.
Yes, yeah. It's a little bit more, people have got to be happy in the trenches. It's a bit harder, dare I say, it's a little bit dirtier to start with, that you've got to get your hands in there. And I think I noticed this when I worked in recruitment, and my boss at the first place, he went to set up his own. I went in, and of course, there's no name in the market. So you've got to build that. And I think that's what we need people to have. When I went to Badenoch and Clark and there was a name, I took my experience and I did great there because it was so much easier.
Yeah.
You know, you call up, you say you're calling from a name, and everyone, you get the time of day, unless they've had a terrible experience, which does happen.
Well, if these salespeople, they say, I'm calling from FedEx, DPD, DHL, Royal Mail, I'm calling from an Express, who are in Express? Well, we're a service provider for da-da-da. But I think once that's the thing they've struggled with. If you say a big brand name, people know exactly who you are and what you want to talk to them about.
Yeah.
They've got to get a little bit more creative when they're calling from InXpress to get quickly away from that and ask, who's responsible for your shipping? Just get straight down to business, because otherwise you get bogged down with the who, why, where, what we're doing. And by that point, they're gone, haven't they?
Yeah. Yeah, you've got to be able to draw the information out of people to understand what they're going through, what their challenges are, what their setup is, so that you can then see, okay, do we actually provide a good solution for you? Because I have a big thing that the quicker you can get the information out of someone and you can find out, do I have a solution for you, the quicker you can go, look, I have a great solution, I'd recommend this, or, do you know, actually, we're not the right people for you. And it's better to fail early and not waste everyone's time.
In terms of next steps then, because obviously myself and InXpress are running in this academy now. It's very interesting since we started this project, how many other companies, like multinationals, are now looking to do this. So they're now thinking, well, we've got a good level of talent. Let's then bring in this next level of talent, because they can learn from the mid-tier and seniors that potentially might be retiring in 4, 5, 6 years, get that experience, we retain it in the business, and we've got some fresh blood that are hungry, driven, entrepreneurial, happy to bang phones, go out like in the old days, door knocking. So do you think that might be the way forward now for companies, hiring-wise?
Yeah, I certainly think it's a great thing. And can I just say, obviously, you know, InXpress and Vidu lead in the way. Look at these multinationals.
Taking notes.
Yeah, see, we know how it's done.
We know how we roll.
But yeah, I think you need, I think there's that drive and that hunger. And one of the biggest things for me, and the thing I've always loved about InXpress, it was attracted me at the first point, is, I don't know, it may be relatively crass to talk about it, but the money. It's a residual income. That was what attracted me to running the franchise. And I do think one of the biggest fall downs in a way with sales recruitment, when you're looking at it, is this, you know, capped anything.
It boggles my brain why anyone would feel it is going to add any value to cap a salesperson's commission. Yeah. You mess with a salesperson's commission, they're gone.
Yeah.
I
don't understand it. It's always been, you know, the commission is a percentage of the whole. So be happy with the larger percentage that's coming into the business and work with that. And that salesperson, I mean, Alex, for example, has been with me, it's 15 or 16 years, and he's always been probably after year 5 or 6, he's like the top performer at InXpress. He absolutely knocks it
Don't
out
be
the park.
telling, they'll all be coming for him.
Well,
They'll
yes.
be coming to head. Well, they can't afford him because he's got 10 years residual income.
This is the thing. Yeah, he's got all that. He's not going anywhere. In fact, one of the large carriers had a conversation with him not too long ago and asked if he wanted to come and work on the bigger accounts. And he said, well...
That's wild, because he was tapping out, 180 a year with base and bonus?
Yeah.
People aren't going to be in a position to fund that, but that is the beauty of him coming in raw.
Yeah.
Let's not forget, we're talking about this academy.
Yeah.
He was selling gym memberships, wasn't
Yes.
he?
Yeah.
And then he's come in, he ended up interviewing you. You're like, I like this guy.
Yeah.
And now he's doing that.
Yeah.
I mean, that's crazy, really.
That shows it
But
all,
it shows
really.
it works.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it's always been my big thing of you're there to sort of drive, motivate and hold people accountable. But for that, they deserve to be paid for what they're doing. They deserve to be paid well. And if you do that, it's funny how easy business becomes. You see so many businesses seem to struggle or lose staff. And you go, well, of course.
Look after your people.
Yeah. You're taking too much off them. You're trying to keep too much for this entity. Give it to the people and just wait a little bit. The business will look after itself.
Well, what you give, you get.
Well.
That's the age-old saying, isn't it? So the more you give to them, they see more money coming. They want more money.
Yes.
And they want to give more. So, it is interesting.
People always live to their means. So
as
they earn more...
their means.
Well, yes, and beyond.
So we've got to keep going and going and going.
Yeah.
But I'm guilty of that. I think, right, I really want that. I'll buy it and then I'll work a bit harder, which it shouldn't be like that. My mum's like, well, why don't you save up first and then buy it? No, because I want it now. So it's like it motivates me to earn more because I want that.
Yeah.
But that is a generational thing. It's like I wouldn't get into debt, but if I want something, I'm in a good position because this is my company. I can just get another 1 or 2 fees and work till 10 or 11 at night. It's a different dynamic. You can just do as much or as little as you want.
Yeah, something changes when you get the confidence of going, really. And to be fair, I've only approached this, even though I'd run my own franchise for that 19 years or so, it's only really recently I'm like, do you know what? I think I'll always be okay because I've got the experience, I've got the knowledge, what I know and what I know I can do, I know I'll be okay. And there's something to that. So like in your position, you can go and do what you want because you're like, I can just shore that up with doing something over here. That's absolutely fine. I know there's a confidence
there. But we're committed. That's the difference. Like one of my previous guests said, no one goes the extra mile nowadays. So you know the times I ring you on a night and my other clients and with time differences and this, that and the other. It's not uncommon. People say it's sad because I've got no work-life balance, but it's because I'm single at the minute. But I've got no issue still working at 9, 10 o'clock at night.
Yeah.
Because it's for me and my son. You know, the dynamics are very different.
Yeah.
If you're getting residual income and you're getting lifetime commission, again, you've got a vested interest to go that extra mile because you know, well, if you're picking the phone up to them at 7, 8 o'clock at night and no one else is, that could be a customer for life. The dynamics are very different, aren't they?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
And have you ever thought of changing that? Because I know some companies, smaller to medium-sized parcel businesses and bigger, they've done that and then they've taken it away and they've said, oh, you get it for 12 months.
No.
So that's just one of your sort of USPs then?
Ever, yeah. It's something I offered from day one and it's something that's come through into the super franchise. No, and I wouldn't change that. That's where the rot sets in my opinion. I'd never do it. If someone's doing that level of work and they're earning good money, you don't take it off them.
No.
You see what else they can do and
get
them more.
Push.
Go for it. You know, the world's your oyster, tear it apart. Brilliant. But no, I'd never take anything off someone. One of my big things, we're working through the budget for 2026. And I mean, I'm in there and I'm trying to put everyone's salary up.
You're used to doing your own thing. Now you have to answer to boards. You sat on a board now, whereas prior, if you wanted to go to the Maldives for 2 months, you were off.
Well, this was the thing, yes. We enjoyed spending summers abroad, which sounds very posh.
You ain't having no holidays for the next 2 years.
No, well, I get 30 days now.
Oh, really? Is it that, like, rigid? You've gone on to, like, a proper contract now?
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
Oh, I said to Adam, I said, oh my God, the last holiday I had was just over that. I said,
Yeah, just in one month. You went for the month.
Yeah. So it's a weather change, but I'm really invested into this. It was going to take a lot for me to sell my business. You know, I wasn't prepared to move away from InXpress.
No.
But when the concept came up and they said, you know, we want to buy this, we want to buy others, and we'd like you to run this larger group, that was
that's a no-brainer,
interest.
Isn't it?
I was like, oh yeah, I'd like that. In fact, it was mentioned years and years ago that this might be something on the table. It might happen, and it was in one of the conventions, I think. And I collared Adam afterwards straight away, and I said, look, if this is something that happens, I'd be really interested. And I don't know if that was an extra tick or something, because it was years and years. But you know, when it came up and it was, they spoke to me and said, we're going to do it. Would you be interested? I mean, I was on holiday at the time,
obviously.
But I was like, yeah, I am.
I'll come back to you in 6 weeks.
Yeah.
But they obviously saw, I mean, you are quite regimented with how you run your business in terms of systems, processes, tech, not from a people perspective, because they've got a lot of autonomy and flexibility and they are all very entrepreneurial. But the basic back-end function of how you want that business to work, if not every franchise runs the same, because they're their own bosses, aren't they? They can choose to invest in what they want to invest. Some people find it a value to, you know, be able to sort of listen to calls, help with training, monitor, track, make things slicker from a tech perspective. Others maybe only have 1 or 2 people in there, a bit old school, still writing things on a piece of paper. So they might have seen the value in how you're saving your salespeople time by having these processes in place.
Yeah.
Not to the point of a micromanagement perspective, it's to the point of helping them do things slicker, quicker.
Yeah. I've always ascribed to the idea of decentralised command. So I never want to be micromanaging. People have got to be able to fly free. But I remember at one of our conventions, I gave the example with regard to the sales team. Lots of people will get salespeople in, they'll put them on the desk, basic bits of training, and it's like, well, look, you've got some experience, so go. And I likened it to digging a load of ditches. It's like you've got these people in, you've thrown them a shovel and you've gone, go on then, and you've walked off.
And they're stuck in them trenches, aren't they?
Well, yeah, but Alex is next to them and I've given him a digger, a banksman, he's getting hot lunches brought to him. So
coffee machines.
Yeah.
Vendors.
Exactly. In fact, you should see that he's got a coffee machine and a fridge and things right next to him. But it's like, yeah, if you support people and you give them the tools that they need and you give them the autonomy to do the job that they're there for, what people will then achieve compared to the alternative is just, and it's a great example of it. It just, you know.
Well, they're focusing on the customers. So because they're not spending time doing all of that back end, they've got more time to engage with customers, more time to make new, you know, contacts, relationships.
Yeah.
So how are you operating? Are you office-based, hybrid, remote? What are your views on that way of working?
Coffee and about an hour's sleep. But
not in life. So do you, because obviously when we started engaging, you know, remote or hybrid, you were quite comfortable and relaxed with, because you said if we trust our people, you know, that come in and we want, you know, them to have what works for them. And obviously from COVID times, like 4 or 5 years ago, that was starting to become the norm. Do you see that as an advantage or a disadvantage? Do you feel it's more of value now, being part of this SF1, to have them on site?
Yeah, I think definitely, and as we've talked about with the new recruitment, whilst we've got 2 sites, I do want people based in there. I think there's so much to learn and so much to pick up and so much interaction within the experience of the whole team that's so incredibly important to get people up to speed. I think this remote and hybrid, I mean, it worked, you know, Alex just after COVID went and moved down in Canterbury, but we'd had like a 10-year working relationship by then.
And he'd been and touched and fielded and been around it all by then, hadn't he?
Yeah, absolutely. So I think it's, we noticed in the early days when we tried with the hybrid, when people are at home in those early days, it's really difficult. They don't know enough to be comfortable. They can't reach out that easily. Even though, we're all connected on the phones, the VoIP systems.
It's quite isolating because it can be a lonely world. If they're ringing 40, 50, 60, people a day, if they're ringing them at this time of year, it'll be pee off, do this, do that, or the profanity because they don't want to talk to anyone about shipping until the new year.
Yeah, that was a very sanitised version.
Yeah, I was doing, how we go when we get moving. So that, if somebody's only a month or two in and they're getting 20, 30 of them because they're calling these customers in peak, but they're still trying to hit their own targets and they don't have someone saying, look, it's the time of year, keep going. For every 4 of them, you'll get one good one. They don't have that sort of engagement, do they?
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I think back to when I first started, I started off in the spare bedroom. I was on my own. And I can remember calling my father and saying, I'm struggling, it's been a terrible day. And he said, right, he'd converted a barn. And part of the barn conversion, he converted an office for himself and his wife for their businesses. And they got an old brown desk and stuck it in the corner. He said, come down and work from here for a bit.
Oh, wow. Did you feel a difference then in your...
Massively.
Yeah.
I mean, he shouted at me a lot, but it was all good advice. But it was, I needed it. I think if I'd have been completely isolated on my own, I wouldn't have pushed on as I did. Having someone there with, whilst it wasn't experience in logistics or InXpress, it's business experience. So he used to shout at me all the time, is what you're doing making money? Because you haven't got any yet, so you've got to make money. What
was your dad's background then? Because I'm assuming he was a businessman.
Yes, yeah. I mean, he's had quite the varied career.
Has he?
Yeah, so he was an engineer's apprentice.
Okay.
Then the first business he had was a chip shop in St John's in Worcester.
Okay.
And then he and his brothers bought a large warehouse. It was bath panels, Coldcraft, but then they turned it into hat kitchens.
Oh, wow.
Which became, it was a big concern. They were NEF, Kitchen Company of the Year several times, voted by NEF, and and then after that, when he moved on from Hat Kitchens, he did the business partnership.
Right, okay.
Which was the business transfer agency. And he came in as a franchisee and then ended up taking over the network because that's kind of how he,
that's how he
does
rolls.
things. So, yeah, he's always had his own businesses. He's always been a case of you work for yourself. So I've done that weird thing of relatively early working for myself and then selling that and going corporate.
He was probably quite a big part of that journey though, really.
Oh, yeah.
Because if you're in that transitional period, I said it before, people 18, 19, 20, they don't really know what they're doing, what they want to do. They've got no real direction. But if he's pushing you at that early age to say you need to do this, you went into recruitment, which there's a lot of synergies there because it's a service-based business.
Yes.
So like you say, it's talking to people, it's building relationships, it's finding a solution.
Yeah.
So everything happens for a reason, doesn't it?
Apparently so. Yeah.
Did you try to get involved then or not?
No. In the early days, he'd make sure I was working. But then... But no. I mean, he'll always check in.
Yeah.
How are things going? And then obviously as I was going through the deal to become, the CEO, in charge of SF1 and things like this, we talked a lot through. So he's always been there with advice. He's a funny one though, because as we were going through the deal, he was like, oh, I'm not sure about this. And have you thought about this? And that's not enough. And what's happening? And then when it's done, he's like, well done. That's absolutely brilliant. I'm like, it's not really what you were saying. You were stressing me out.
Do you think he just likes to have his 2 pence?
Oh, yeah. He's always the one at any kind of dinner. Once he's got a few beers in him, he'll say something that's something political that's just going to inflame the entire table.
Have you got him at Christmas then?
No, not this Christmas. We're away this Christmas.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Oh,
yeah, we miss it this year.
So if somebody, obviously you've sort of gone through this transition and now you're in more of this corporate world. If somebody shadowed you for a week in this new role, what do you think would surprise them the most?
I would probably think if they knew me before, it would be how much time I'm actually spending working now. The franchise was very much running without me, but now I'm really in the thick of it. I think the surprise would probably be how much time I spend asking people what they need and how can I help.
Okay.
I see that whilst I see my job as to set that initial strategy, set the teams, set the culture, build what I believe is the right structure, then I'm there to just support people. My role is to make sure they've got everything they need. And that's that decentralised command. People are in charge. Come to me. What is it you need?
So are they quite vocal? Are they quick to put their hand up and say, Neil, I can't do this because I need this?
I might have bitten off more than I could chew being like this. Yeah, there's a lot.
Especially with two of them, I can think of straight off the bat.
Yeah. But no, that's it. That's my role. They're the ones who are doing the hard work, in my opinion, and I've got to give them everything that they need and the different structures as the business grows that may help. So I'm in service and support, in my opinion.
Well, everyone's got to adapt. The industry is changing, and it's evolving, and companies are diversifying. So you need to try and stay ahead of the game, don't you? And be at the forefront. Do you think technology plays a lot in that?
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. It's amazing how you can go from having the very best platform online, and it feels like a couple of months later, just someone's shot past you, and you think, "Oh, well, hold on."
Yeah, we've only just launched.
Yeah, this has just come out. What's going on? But everything's a leapfrog, and I think technology plays a massive part. But whilst, like I say, you've got the leapfrog, sometimes you don't have the best platform. That's where the service and the value you provide becomes so important. It's like, look, we'll get back up here technologically.
Yeah.
But that you've still got...
into this.
Yeah.
Okay. Obviously, we've talked about your dad. Would you say he was one of your biggest influences and mentors growing up?
Yeah, I think so, because although it's funny how with regard to business...
Or could we use another word?
Yeah. Yeah, this is being recorded, so we'll be careful.
Yeah.
No, certainly with regard to business, I mean, he's always been the guy who's gone out there and forged his own path. Okay. Completely.
So you must respect.
Oh, massively. There's, almost sometimes to his detriment, he will always forge his own path. I mean, I remember a story that he brought, when he was an engineer's apprentice, he brought the whole factory out on strike. And I think he was 17 at the time. But he convinced everyone this wasn't acceptable and got them all out. That's the type of character he is.
And did they all get an uplift? They get a salary
I've
increase?
never heard the follow-on to the story.
Oh, yeah, you probably got sacked.
It might have been. That's why I started the chip shop.
That's why I started the chip shop.
In fact, the timing is relatively close. So
just say, Nicky's rumbled you, by the way.
Yeah. But he's always, and he's always been of that opinion, if he doesn't know something, he'll go and learn it, and then he'll implement it. So, it was... And being based out of his office and spending time with him and learning from him was a massive part of why I've had it's very hard to compliment yourself, isn't it? Had the success I've had over the years.
Which you have.
Sounds awful
you've
to
got,
say.
Yeah. But take a minute, because look at where I say this to my guests all the time that are coming in, and the CEOs or the MDs and the business owners. Look where you were and where you are now, because sometimes you'd so head down and in the day-to-day, and it's just the grind. You don't actually take a step back and think, wow, actually, look what we've done. Look where the team are. Look where I am. Look what we're creating and building.
Yeah. No, it's a good point.
So when you think like that, because you don't take a minute, do you? Because you're so busy, you're asking everyone else, what can I do for you? How can I help you?
Yeah.
And then is anyone ever saying to you, look what you've done? Look what we've created. This is like mental.
I've heard, what have you done?
Yeah,
a lot,
what? Yeah. Or what is this? Is that mainly coming from John?
Yeah.
But it's a real transition, isn't it? Yeah. From where you started, just thinking, and it's so interesting how so many successful professionals just land into logistics by chance. It's not a chosen career path for them. They end up coming in at a very low level and they progress into like board directors.
Yes, yeah.
But it's funny, I think now, because we were doing some work with Cranfield University as a partner with some of their graduates. And it's interesting now, the dynamic and the shift, because logistics was seen as very outdated. Oh, it's planes, it's trucks, it's trains, it's this, it's that. But in the most recent years, it's a little bit sexier. We've got drones, we've got innovation, we've got SaaS, we've got, really cool e-com cross-border solutions. And it wasn't historically seen as that. And I think that was why it was very male-orientated. It was just, quite a lot of men there weren't a lot of females that were looking to get into the industry. But in the probably past 10, 15 years, I think that's now shifted and people are real advocates for women in logistics. They really want that diversity, and the females are coming in and whipping the men into shape now.
Yes.
And even if you see when we're doing searches, you get more male candidates than female candidates.
Yes. But then, as you know, we've just taken on Sonia.
Oh, yeah, she's a little pocket rocket.
Yeah, absolutely brilliant. And she's going to do so well.
But it's interesting because she did what Alex did and interviewed you and the team, really.
Yeah.
So I think, and I also thought it was interesting when we were talking about the feedback about the successful candidates that have come through this process that you've really liked and have really impressed the team have primarily had a side hustle.
Yes.
So
yeah.
Why is that something appealing? Is that because you think they're money hungry and they're driven and they're thinking outside of the box?
Yeah, I think it's a little bit about that thinking outside the box. It's the mentality of I've seen something and I'm going to go for this because I think it'll do this.
Yeah.
And it's just those few pieces that they've put together and gone for it. And it's not, I think it's the action of it that I love.
Yeah.
Lots of people could see opportunities and go, oh, I could do this. But then...
It makes me laugh when one of their personality profiles was they were a maverick. And you were like, I love it.
Yeah. Fantastic.
They're hired.
Yeah. Brilliant.
But it is, like you say, both of them going through the interview, their lead did just literally winding up, didn't they? You could see they were getting excited about what you were telling them. They were quickly, well, when can we get moving? We want to get going. We want to get on it. We understand what we're doing. And they even did some role plays at interview, didn't they, on phones?
Yeah. Well, actually, live calls.
Oh, was it? Oh, I thought it was just internally. Were they actually speaking to customers?
Yep.
Did they get anything out of it?
Yep. Both of them straight on. And just, there's that thing, because I think the initial call is pulling that info, like I was saying. And they were so confident and conversational that just having some questions and go and see if you can get that information out. And they just chatted.
Yeah.
And
that's the thing. It's just been a bit easy breezy, isn't it? They're only humans.
Yes. But their willingness, when we said, would you like to make a few calls? It's like they're up.
Yeah, give me the script.
Off we go. And you go, oh, just fantastic. That's brilliant.
Wild.
You'll never hold someone like that back. They'll always do well. I just want to make sure we give them environment so they do well with us, because they're going to do well somewhere because they've just got that mindset.
Is Alex looking forward to managing them then?
Yes, yeah.
Has he found that a hard transition because he's been so successful as a lone wolf, really, doing his own thing, earning, crazy amounts of money?
Yeah.
Was he ready for this step up? Or was it you saying, no, Alex, you need to do this. We've got these people coming in.
Well, when we had a chat about what was happening, I said I was going to sell the business. It was coming into SF1, and I outlined what I thought was likely to happen and what I hoped the plan was going to be. It's obviously what I talked about with Adam and John, so I was relatively confident this is how it's going to go. And when I said about sales management, we want to put a team underneath you and then a team under Ross. Alex was very much, yes, I'm really interested because, as he said, I've been doing this and I've been selling hard and I'm out there every day and it's been 15 odd years. And it would be nice to be able to take a step back a little from the huge levels of activity and put that experience, that knowledge, that accountability into some other people. Like I've been saying, elevate those people and then watch a team grow.
He's still getting his commissions, isn't he? Because he's got commission for the lifetime of his accounts.
But I've also built it in that there'll be something
get an
from
override.
the sales team. So he's got an invested interest whilst we look for him to maintain his customers. But then he's got a percentage that will come across from the new rep. So that's the thing. I think for every bit of work you want someone to do, if you want them to work to the best of their ability, there's got to be something for it. I mean, it's obvious.
No one's going to do anything for nothing, are they?
Exactly. But yet so many companies try, don't they? They try to get you to do so much for nothing.
Well, it's great that he was on board with it because, but like you say, if he's been doing the activity he's been doing for 15 years, it's a lot, you know, out in the field, on the phones, and he is very robotic, isn't he? He's just in his zone, bang, 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 bang. I can imagine sort of 9 to 5, he's probably not taking a breath.
No.
But it's worked.
He has the same lunch Monday to Friday, and it's just, that's how regimented he is.
Does he actually? What does he have?
Oh, I must admit, I've never dived in. It doesn't look great, to be honest.
Does he not?
But he's a bit of a fitness freak as well. So
it might be one of these old protein things that, when they're into the gym and they all what is it? Where they pre-prepare and pre-order their food.
Oh, you see, I've pre-gamed a few times, but that's about as far as I go.
So what, you're clearly passionate about what you're doing here. Yeah. And I think it's okay when people say something like, oh, what do you love? Oh, yeah, I love people. I love partnerships. But when you're actually talking about it, you are lighting up. So it's funny that you say, if people knew me, they'd see a miserable so-and-so because I'm not actually like this. So you're in the right place here, you know, because you're going in and you're feeling inspired by the people that are inspiring you, and they're going to new levels and doing what they're doing. So what got you, I know obviously we said about your diploma and you got a little bit involved in people and behaviours and traits and sort of personalities. What do you want to develop that? Is that something you're passionate about getting more involved in?
Yeah, it was. That was the diploma in corporate governance.
Yes.
And where they said there was a module on culture, and they said how what was it? Culture eats something for breakfast. Oh, I can't remember what it is now. But such an importance on culture, and it really resonated. And I was like, yeah, and culture comes from the top down. So you have to set things out. But with the right culture, and I think I unknowingly in some respects operated in this way with what was my franchise, but then having gone through the diploma, looking into it, looking at the benefits of how you can structure teams and what you can do when you give people autonomy. And then when the super franchise option came up, I was like, because I spoke to Katie, Alex, and I always called ourselves the Triangle. Yeah. Because basically, I built my franchise with these two guys. It was we were the Triangle, and everything else, you know. Yeah. Came from
that. Was the pillars, wasn't it?
Well, yes.
And the basis of the foundation of what you were wanting to scale.
Yes. Yeah. So I said, when we're doing this, I need you two guys on board because I'm going to build this with you. You're my guys. I can't
imagine if they said no.
Well, yes, that would have been.
You'd be like, well, that's not an option. You're coming.
Yeah, it would have been a little bit like that. Yeah, either that or I might have lost my beard and not just the hair. Yeah, that'd have been it.
But I think you must have known because what you three have been through. Yeah, from the ground up. You know, you can't. They'll have a level of loyalty to you like you have to them. You want them to sort of keep earning and keep growing and learning and building. Well,
in a way, what I could offer them there was it was a level of protection because obviously with any business at some point you're going to sell it, and if I sold it to another somewhere. You're never really going to know what they're going to do with it, what they want to do with it.
They might have their own people. They might not necessarily want to keep them on.
Yeah. Whereas with this, I know they're the right people to help within SF. So they're going to be elevated into good positions. So at some point when InXpress decide they've had enough of me and I'm no longer needed, they'll be in fantastic positions of running SF1.
Well, it's giving them exposure to the corporate world as well, because you three will have muddled through initially. None of you knew what you were doing. Like when I set my business up, you focus on your clients and, your candidates from a recruitment perspective. You'll be focusing on getting your customers onto the portal and getting the word out about who you are. And it's quite scrappy, isn't it? Because that's how you've got to build to get those blocks in place, whereas they've had the exposure of a startup, so they understand how that operates, and now they're going to have the experience of a corporate. So as individuals, that's really strengthening for their CV, to be honest. It gives a really nice dynamic because some people can't go from corporates to startups because they're used to having a big network and infrastructure around them, and you take them out of that into a small company and it's like, oh, I have so-and-so that does this for me. Well, no, we do everything here. So the fact they've had both sides of that coin, I think, will set them up very well.
We've noticed with franchisees in the past who've come from a big corporate entity that it's a real struggle because all of a sudden it's just them.
You're so exposed, aren't you?
Yes.
You know, that is the thing. And it's like one of my previous guests said, you are self-employed to a certain extent. You've got the tools to do what you need to do, but it's up to you to then go out and make things happen. And that's pretty much a little bit like where you're at. They've got to have that something in them to want to have that fire in the belly to go out and get things done, because they're not spoon-fed anything, are they?
No, definitely not. And I quite like that like you say, when you start up and you feel like you're that lone soldier on the battlefield and it's all on you, but there's something quite powerful about that.
Oh, I love that, the scrappiness. And it was... Even my son used to say to me, Mum, what are you arguing with that man for? I said, Harry, he's trying to take our business. We can't have it. We won't be able to pay our bills this month. But in the days, that's how it was.
Yeah, when it's all on the line. You just,
But we had no plan B. So when I did this, I was like, I'm in. And I was all in. And another guest that I've spoken to, well, why don't you keep doing that with that company? And then once you get to a certain level of income, then set this up. I said, well, no, because that's wasting 8 or 12 months. I'm either committing to it or I'm not. So you don't... And it's funny, one of my other guests said, when that much is on the line, and you'll have been the same, when everything's on the line... It's scary what you will do to win.
Yeah. It's that burn the boats mentality, isn't it?
That's what he said to me. He said, you burn the ships.
Yeah.
It's like, burn them ships, move in.
That's it.
But you have to.
Yeah.
Because I know you obviously didn't have your son at the time, but you still had your partner, you were living together, you're starting to build a family. So from even your perspective at the time, it was a brave decision to go all in and do it.
Yeah.
But best thing we've done, I bet you, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. The position I find myself in today is something I didn't dream of.
Yeah, I remember when we spoke about this, when you were allowed to, and it was as though you were shocked, like you were chosen. It's like, what do you expect? Look at what you've achieved in your own individual franchise. They're clearly going to want to safeguard their business. So they want the 5 top performing franchises, amalgamate them, bring them in. That's like steady income for them. Why would they not bring you in?
Yeah.
But you probably don't see that in yourself.
No, I'm very self-critical.
Is there anything else? Obviously we've covered quite a lot today around your passions, who InXpress are, what value you think they are to a retailer, what you look for in an individual that's going to look to get on board with InXpress's journey, and your passions around people, leadership, culture, behaviours. Is there anything else you want to talk about on this platform today that you feel the audience will get some value from a sort of logistics or partnership perspective?
That's a good question.
You can have a moment.
Yeah, I might need one. Might need a drink.
Greg?
No.
I'm joking.
What would be...
Because you'll have seen a lot over the years. Or is there anything, if I phrase it differently, what customers ask you for? Anything that they say, if you could do this, this would be really of value to us, or any certain trend with them that you've seen?
Yeah. Do you know, it's funny, the biggest thing I think we get from customers is the things that they really want is reliability. They need to know what's happening, and they need to know it's going to happen consistently, and they need communication. And those two things sound like the easiest things in the world, which compared to taking an item, putting it onto a conveyor system that's reading barcodes and measuring and flying it halfway around the world, should be the easy part. That's all really difficult, to my mind anyway. But it's funny how just the very simple aspects of a driver coming in and collecting every day is still a major issue. And that's where I really love what we do, because we step beyond just the single carrier. You know, we've got the ability to get a dedicated driver to pick it up, drop it into the depot.
Okay. And is that quite accessible then for you? Are these quite easy for you to sort of engage with these partners and say, one of our customers has been let down, we need you there, what, today, tomorrow?
Within half an hour.
Wow, okay.
We'd have someone there. And in a lot of cases, you know, for our customers, we'll take care of that. So there'd be a cost element to that.
Okay.
But again, this comes down to...
You do that behind the scenes without them really being bothered by it?
Yes.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah. So having that ability to look after the customers and shore up those areas of reliability and making sure we're on top of the communication, those are the things I think most customers want, and often are the things that just really lack out this whole system.
And you'd think, like you say, that's the basics. Even if you've got... I mean, I say to my clients or candidates, I won't ring you to tell you I've got nothing to tell you, but I'll keep you in the loop.
Yes.
So, and they say, oh, Nikki, yeah, we appreciate that you haven't got that yet, but thanks for the update and for thinking to let us know. That's all they want. Or if something goes bad, I'm like, look, that guy's pulled out because he's gone to so-and-so, it's back in with the team and we're going to do this.
Yeah.
Rather than leaving it and then them ringing me in a week and a half, Nikki, what's happened with such and such? So I do think that transparency and openness applies to all of us, really, doesn't it, then?
Yeah.
And it's interesting that's what they think is most of value.
Yeah, certainly. I mean, I've been out on client visits because we've got this other franchises coming into the group, and I've been going out on customer visits with the exiting franchisee to get to know the customers. And it's funny how the things that they hold up as most value is the communication that they have with the customer service team at the franchise, and the reliability that they get from that. Those are just the two key points. All the other things, if you like, the really
bit you
difficult
spend all the money on
stuff, has gone. You know,
but maybe they just expect that from you. Maybe they just think, well, they are a multi-carrier solution. They've got, you know, these multiple carriers, they've got to have the tech because we need to get access to the portal or whatever it may be. So maybe that's just a given. Yet these are the add-ons that they say, well, that's great and it works, but we like it because we also get this and this.
Yes.
But it's good feedback for you, isn't it, from them?
Yeah. I mean, it's an imperfect industry. You're always going to have issues. It's too complex for there not to be problems. And, you know, a lot of problems, to be fair. You know, you're flying stuff here, there and everywhere. You've got customs that in different countries will change their minds. You've all of a sudden got
since the whole
tariffs.
Brexit catastrophe.
Well, yeah. You know, and changes and this and that, there will always be problems. But being able for a customer to have someone to talk to be someone who can communicate exactly what's happening and provide extra solutions, which are, you know, for example, you know, you've got one carrier, there's a particular issue going to a particular country. Well, okay, let's move you away from that because we know this carrier is okay, so we're going to move this element of your business here. Being able to chop, change and put new procedures in place. Yeah,
that is very valuable, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because a lot of them they're talking to robots, aren't they? And I do believe tech and AI has got a place, but I think when it comes to customer service, people don't want to speak to someone in another country. You know, they want to talk to somebody in the UK, probably within an hour of where their parcel is, in a particular depot, so they know when it's gone out, what's happening with it, what's the journey. And I think in banking, for argument's sake, you can have outsourced call centres. But I think when it's smaller to medium-sized companies that are shipping, They want to pick up a number with a local dialing tone and speak to somebody in charge at a depot. I don't think that's ever going to go away, to be honest.
No. I mean, I look at our local butchers. You walk down there, you walk in the morning. Hello, Neil. How you doing? Did you have a good weekend? I did. How are you? And you're having a chat. He knows what I'm there for. I'm there for my bacon and my sausage because it's the weekend. And it's lovely. You cross that with going to Tesco's. Yes, there's a huge amount of convenience. It's a bit cheaper, but there isn't that personal experience. But I think InXpress is a bit of a mix of that. It's almost like the butchers within Tesco's. So you're getting that personal service. Someone knows you. They know what you're after. They know what you need. They know what you like. They know how to service you properly. But then there is this technological behemoth behind that can look after the needs, and we can give you that cheaper price. But it's always a much nicer experience going to, something smaller that you know, who knows you.
Well, you're never going to escape that human-to-human engagement and interaction. However much you like to talk to people on the phone, or, you like to do things a certain way, or hide behind an email, whatever it may be, you cannot get away from it. I really don't like talking to these robots. And I just always say, I want to talk to a human. And Harry comes in, he's like, Mum, what are you doing? I said, I'm trying to find a key word to get them to put me through to a person, because it's alien to me.
Did you ever imagine that would be a sentence that you'd shout down the phone?
No, I want to talk to a real person.
What is happening with the world?
But this is what's happening, isn't it?
Yeah.
And then they're saying, we don't understand your request. I would like to talk to somebody. So, and that's for something trivial. If I've got 30, 40 parcels that have gone missing, and there's some robots trying to talk to me and saying, what's this, what's that? It doesn't cut it, does it?
And it's a cost-cutting exercise for the business. So it's not about the customer experience.
But it's not the customer service. That's what you're telling me. That's what they want.
Yeah, absolutely. It's amazing how much you stand out when you can provide a really good localised customer service. That's still one of the big USPs for InXpress. It's why even with SF1 we've got the 2 office spaces, because primarily this is where the activity was happening. So we provide local service. So all of the accounts that are local to Guildford will call into Guildford.
And then Birmingham will go into Birmingham.
And we keep it siloed still as regards to customers. Yeah, because people build up a relationship, you get to know them. There's always that saying, isn't there? It's not treat people as you would like to be treated. It's treat people as they would like to be treated. That's the most important thing. And you can't do that if you don't know them.
No, that's probably. So do you think those customers, do you think majority of them have been on the journey from pretty early on? Have you organically grown with these customers, do you think?
Yes, yeah, there's a lot of that. In fact, I was out to see one with David, and I think he started his business in 2008. He signed them up in 2008. They were his 13th customer, and we went in to see them today because they're still with him. And it was, obviously he's retiring now, and it was an emotional farewell for everyone.
Oh, why I'm crying. I'm getting it's my age. I'm getting hormonal. I can cry at Gogglebox. Harry's like, Mum, what are you doing? Wow, but that just shows the power of relationships.
Yes, yeah, that's something beyond just a business and a business relationship. There's a real connection there.
And they'll have had some difficult discussions over the years, I'm sure. Things not going right, or something not as expected, but they've worked through it. It's like a marriage, that, isn't it?
Yes, yeah, because those aren't easy.
Tell me.
Yeah.
I don't have one anymore, but I've really enjoyed this podcast, actually. I thought, because we're just like flowing with it, I think because we know each other.
Yes.
Do you feel less nervous now? Because you were a bit like, Nikki, lights, camera, action.
Yeah. I think the nerves will come back when it's ready to watch. I'm not.
No, I think, but you're just talking about what you love. And I think that is the key thing. You love what you do.
Yes. Yeah.
And I think that is why you want to really keep nurturing it. You know, you want to keep supporting the team and the new people that are coming in and new customers and look at new ways to create solutions and support your salespeople with things to make their job easier. You know, you wouldn't do that if you didn't love it, because you'd be there and it's all about the money.
Yeah, yeah. And that never works out terribly well.
No.
Obviously, it's a big part. But
it'd be a really bad hobby.
Yeah. But no, I look at it with my son, Cooper, and watching, and I know this is, it's a bit of a silly comparison in some respects, but watching him grow and watching him find new things. And, I had a meeting this morning on Teams. So we said, right, you've got to run up the road, because my wife wasn't very well. You've got to run up the road to Claire's house, and she's going to walk you in with Zach, because one of his pals
for school.
lives up the road. And it's just these little freedoms and watching him grow a little bit.
And did he love that?
Oh, he absolutely loved it.
I think it's exciting, and I think the market is going to shift. The industry is going to change. I'm already seeing changes with what my clients are doing in terms of pivoting to other areas and focuses that they want to have as an add-on, because I think it's trying to get that, full end-to-end solution. So like some of them are heavily involved in not only the parcels, but they've got returns, they've got freight forwarding and supply chain, they've got fulfillment. And I think that is the beauty. It's being able to understand what the customers want, pivot when you need to pivot, and you're at a size where you might be putting tens and hundreds of millions through these multi-carriers, but you're still agile enough that if something needs to change and shift, you can do that pretty rapidly for your customers. So that's a USP for them. And I think, like you say, it is people.
Yes.
That's going to make, and the next generation of talent now.
Yeah.
I think that's the beauty of where we're going, because we've got so many industry specialists that are going to be out of the industry in 5 to 10 years.
Yeah.
And we've got to retain that knowledge somehow. Industries are going to change. And God knows what will happen in the next few years after what we've previously experienced. But that is something you can't buy, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's that key and that knowledge.
Absolutely.
Well, I have some quick-fire questions, Mr. Hatt.
Okay.
Nothing crazy or anything that needs to be censored. But the audience just like to know a little bit about the guest. So, are you a morning person or a night owl?
Oh, can I say neither?
No, neither or. But normally people say both.
Yeah.
You're neither.
Do you know, I can be both, but always at different times. In the week, I like to get up early and get things started. But at the weekend, that flips around.
Okay.
The weekends are mine, and those will be late nights.
Yeah, no, I hear you.
Yeah.
Dogs or cats?
Dogs.
What's your favourite holiday destination?
Oh, now.
And you've been a lot of places, haven't you?
Yeah. It's funny. For relaxation, it's always the Caribbean for me. There's just something about it, especially Barbados, that is just, I switch off and I relax. I get very quickly into Caribbean time and I chill. Yeah. And that's amazing. But then I would probably say the other one I haven't been to yet. We go in March next year. We're going to Japan. And that's been on my list for the longest time, but we've just never got across there. And I have a feeling it's very quickly going to be
your favourite.
My favourite. I think it definitely will.
That's interesting.
Yeah. But it's funny how it's so different. I love travelling through Australia, Western, because it's like the Wild West over there. It's just...
Is it? I've never been to Australia.
I've not been to the East Coast, which is obviously, all the cities, the gold, all of that sort of stuff. But the West is just, it's like another planet. Everything's red. The things will kill you left, right and centre.
Really?
Snakes, spiders. I'm a bit on edge about that. We never saw any.
No.
It was fine. But yeah, travelling through it, it was just, it felt like, the land that time forgot in a beautiful way.
Yeah.
I really enjoy it over there.
That brings you back to reality though, isn't it? Because there's so many things that we have that we don't need.
Yes.
When you strip everything back, what's important realistically?
Yeah, absolutely.
I think that would make me quite grateful if I was to go somewhere like that and see it and think, actually, Does that really matter? Do I need that? Or why am I pushing myself to get that? It just puts things into perspective, doesn't it?
It really does.
Did you get that vibe when you were there? Did you feel like that?
Massively, because we got a motorhome. So we went down from Darwin down to Perth. And, you know, the motorhome's full of this red dust. Your clothes aren't clean.
Does it matter?
You're driving all this time. But then, you pull up to like Ningaloo Reef and the sea's just this phenomenal blue, and you can just snorkel right off the beach, and you're like, really? And then you go and you have a barbecue.
It's another world, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's another world.
If you could do that all the time, it'd be lovely. But
we've got to work to pay for it.
That's the thing, yeah.
It's a bit of a double-edged sword.
There is that, yeah.
What's the one food you could eat every day?
Oh, gosh. Well, it's going to be a form of pasta. It's going to be, no, it's not. No, it's not. Oh, no, it is. No, it is. I was going either sushi or pasta, but I would go...
Oh, sushi's healthy.
Yeah.
Men normally say curry.
See, that's what my dad would say.
Said curry.
Yeah. My dad would definitely be on that train. No, it's always been, pasta for me. In fact, if I had to distill it down to one dish, I'd just go carbonara.
Oh, spaghetti carbonara. That's Harry's favourite.
I know, it's like...
He could eat that every day.
Yeah.
It's terrible.
Me and my son, he's only 10, but literally we're just exactly the same. I've got the palate of a 10-year-old.
Basics. Nothing wrong with the good old basics.
Yeah.
You put me off my train of thought now. I forgot my other question. Oh, is there a guilty pleasure you're willing to admit on air?
Oh, wow. Okay.
That look doesn't look good.
Yes, knock off the first three. I can't say those. I would probably say, being now that I'm 47, it probably does fall into guilty pleasure, but I love my PlayStation.
What do you play on it?
It's a real wind down. Well, I think the thing is, of late, these games that have come out, they are... the money that goes into them, they're like movies.
Yeah, well, Harry did say that. So you feel like you're there. They're so realistic.
Yeah. I'm playing Ghost of Yotai. So it's all set in Japan. So I love these things. I'm getting really prepped. So it's in the samurai era. And
so in your spare time, is this not keeping you up at night?
No, it's not. It's funny. It's really lessened now that I'm obviously working for a living again.
Yeah.
But I'm really trying to make sure that it is just a little bit of a pleasure and a wind down. So, obviously, I've got my motorbike, so I'll be on that in the summer, but I'm learning the guitar. Okay. So I'm trying to put time in, and I'd love to read, so I'm always reading, but I do always feel a little bit guilty because it feels quite frivolous. But then I think...
It's not really.
It's just another consumption of media.
Half an hour a night.
Yeah. And that's all it'll ever be.
It's like when I ration Harry, I turn the Wi-Fi off. I'm like, I can hear it, Harry. I'm trying to sleep. Turn his Wi-Fi off on my phone now. Yeah. Just saying, I'm not having it. I can't listen to the shouting and effing and jeffing and cursing from his bedroom if he loses at a game or... Yeah. It's bad. It can bring out bad behaviours.
Yes. Well, I don't play multiplayer.
You don't do
I'm too introverted. I don't like that.
Talking about books then, you said you read a lot. So is there a book, a podcast, a movie that's really inspired you?
Other than, obviously, this podcast, of course.
I love this. Best client ever.
I would probably say one of the things that's always stuck with me and ignited quite the passion that's followed through to a lot was reading James Lovell, Apollo 13. I think when you read that first-hand account of what they went through and how they came back, and obviously the team that pulled together, but the mentality of these guys to be in a tin can that's it's all going wrong, and actually that success story of getting through everything and coming down. I mean, when we went to Washington, I couldn't wait to get to the Air and Space Museum, just because Apollo 11 is, their capsule's there, and it still blows my mind that people could be that intelligent, but also that, to my mind, stupid, to strap themselves into something like that. I can't.
But it's that bloody mindedness, isn't it? They just knew they wanted to get that done.
Yeah. I got the chance to meet Chris Hadfield. He was the commander of the International Space Station.
Wow, okay.
He was giving a talk at the Leicester Space Station. You know, he's another one. You know, someone who can strap themselves to, well, an all intents half a nuclear bomb and just fly off into space.
Yeah, no, that's not my vibe.
But he's so intelligent. I mean, it literally like he's another species.
Really?
Some of the things and some of the questions at the table we were on. You know, people were obviously...
That must have been a good experience, actually,
phenomenal.
To meet him.
Yeah. But certainly that, you know, Apollo 13, what they went through, how they didn't let the fear get to them, how they worked together and how they overcame those obstacles is, you know, you think if someone can do that, you know...
In that circumstance and situation.
We can sort out
Your
this
guy
next
should be
quarter.
Flying.
Yeah.
Like, what are you stressing about? Have you not watched this?
Yeah, that's the thing.
Oh, well, we have come to the end of the podcast. So I want to thank you very much for coming. Is there anything else you want to say to wrap things up?
I would just like to say thank you very much for having me on.
Very welcome.
I feel
it's flown by, hasn't it?
I feel wildly underqualified to be here.
Oh my God, this is only my fourth, so we're both in the same boat.
Oh, well, no, I really appreciate it. And obviously I appreciate so much everything that we've been together through over the years and how you've helped me build my team. Well, you know.
Working partnership.
Yes, yeah. And obviously, you know, the people that you've been able to help me with, and not just that, you know, we've spoken a lot and the advice and the things I've been able to bounce off you and the ideas you've given me is...
Well, hopefully that's our value add because it is a tough gig. There's not a lot of...
Yeah.
There's a lot of candidates. There's not a lot of the right candidates that fit an InXpress solution. That's the thing. And then you have to look at the cultural fit and then you have to look at the geography. So there's quite a lot of factors when you're recruiting for a multi-carrier solution that people don't necessarily realise need to be added into the equation, really. But we learned firsthand, didn't we, at the beginning of the process?
Yes.
It doesn't always work. Taking someone from a multinational, but then you've got two that have come from that, but different in terms of they were quite autonomous individuals anyway, and they were very coachable and teachable. And I think anyone coming into your environment, they don't need to change the world. There is a blueprint in place. Yeah. Follow the plan, listen to what we're telling you, and you will fly. When people start going off-piste and doing things a little bit differently, that's when it goes off the rails a bit, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely, 100%. Yeah. Yeah, I think that's it's like you're saying, what you've just outlined there and like your knowledge and everything that's come through there. I always, when people say they're self-made, they're lying. You know, I'm in a lovely position, or certainly from my perspective, should I say.
Lying.
I'm not, but you know, you look at where I am now with the super franchise and the you know, the trust that InXpress has put in me. You know, you've been a large part of that over the years because I've been able, all of your knowledge, advice and the help you've done with the recruitment and the people you found has helped build a team that's elevated
to the next
my
level.
Franchise. So, yeah.
I'll invoice you later.
You've always invoiced me. What are you talking about?
Actually. Brilliant. Oh, well, thank you for coming, Neil.
Thanks, Nikki.
Thank you.
Cheers.